Hi guys, I'm just about to sit down with Trevor Barry. Trevor is the bass player on Strictly Come Dancing here in the UK and has also played with artists such as Phil Collins, Celine Dion and Freddie Mercury, to name just three. In the interview we're talking about Trevor's custom Overwater Progress Bass. This bass features a very special, unique design and a Roland Midi pickup built in. We're going to talk about why he chooses to play overwater basses and also get into some advice for any aspiring bass players or people looking to level up in the industry. Enjoy!
See, I'm the least technical bass player. I don't know anything about how anything works. I don't know anything about frequencies, but I just know a good, when I picked up the first jazz he made me, the quality of workmanship is so much better than a Fender.
What kind of inspired the idea of putting it's a Roland MIDI pickup in it?
Yeah.
Are there specific tunes you're playing on Strictly or outside of Strictly you had in mind when you were doing that?
Everything on the launch show is played on the latest Overwater. It's the holy grail, isn't it, for all bass players to play mood lines. When I saw Chris make one for some French bass player, I went up to the workshop and played it for a bit, and within 5 minutes I could see it tracking. I could see that our programmers would be able to get these modules up to spec. So and the tracking was 100%. So that inspired me to go, okay, do one of those.
And what are you running it into?
Dan, what did I tell you about the tech?
Come on, we're getting to the gear, Trev.
I don't even know. Don't. You'll have to come down and I'll leave the house. Chris put me in touch with Roland, and Roland very kindly gave me a deal and offered me both the things that they had. I've got the more programmable one because it's the synth noises we want more than samples.
Yeah.
And to be programmable, of course. So I've got that, whatever that is. I'm ashamed to say I couldn't tell you what it is.
So are you praying that someone's going to call some of that 80s Whitney kind of stuff? Like how will
they're already out.
Right.
They've already got. I heard yesterday the numbers for the first lot of dancers. So there was a Whitney in that. But there's it's that's what it's for. Ideally to get at the moment to work alongside the synth bass parts.
Yeah.
At the moment, I double all the synth bass parts I play on the bass guitar as well.
Yeah.
On the show. So and they mix them together, and they normally mix a bass guitar just under the synth, so it's got the bite of the synth and the fullness of the guitar,
Yeah.
But the idea is to use a synth along with all the pop tunes that use those things, but also on orchestral stuff. I used to work with Yusuf Islam, Cat Stevens, and he used to describe the music as color, and or sense, and it was a warmth, you'd say. So the warmth, and that's exactly what it gives to the orchestra,
I've seen pictures of the bass. It's got quite a unique top on it, hasn't it?
My take, as always with Martin, is to because he's brilliant at what he does.
Yeah.
So my take is to let him go. I'd say to him, make it look like no other.
Yeah.
Make it look like no other Overwater. So let's make it hard. So then he was brilliant. He started putting some wood together, and then he'd send me pictures how it's laid out, and then I'd have I want it. I said, look, instead of going straight, let's head it towards the neck,
Yeah.
So then he'd come up with a way of doing that and various things, and it just looks like it's like a great piece of art,
Yeah.
It's beautifully made. And then I love this pickup thing because it's really comfortable to play.
I'd get on with that because my boggle with when people have ramps on basses is always that you can't dig into it enough if you are doing some popping and stuff.
It's one of the great things about. Again, depending on whether you're pulling or pushing, It's a question of where you can hit the, and it's great to get a percussive area down here with your thumb, or if you able laborial on it, with your fingers right across it. So it's like any instrument. If it sounds half decent, not plugged in, it's going to work better, and it just sounds. It's very alive, the bass, I think.
I think it's a big part of Chris's philosophy that they're all acoustic instruments to begin with, and then
everything has to feel good. But what I think they do, all the gaps around here, I just find astonishing. That's what they do in that shed.
Yeah.
The blokes in there, all of them, and even the ones that aren't there that I drive mad by. I wanted the same bit of wood here. I wanted a thing down here and all that. And that's the genius of all of them. Because they go back, Martin and Chris and all of them go do this phenomenal work with just the you could be chatting to your milkman.
Yeah.
Good milkman is worth the weight in gold. But. You wouldn't know they were just making this art.
Yeah.
There happens to be great basses, Did he tell you about the lights he's put in for me?
No.
He's got these lights. It comes with a torch, and you run it up the neck. It goes up. I think it might take a while now because I haven't done it. But they just. No, you can see. No, you can't see them, can you?
Oh yeah, no, you can. Yeah, yeah.
So, I mean, it's in a pit. It's great, but I forgot to take the torch out, and I tried doing it with the phone, and it wasn't having it. And it's sounding great in Strictly so far, but I'm looking forward. I'm looking forward to hearing what it sounds like tomorrow night. Okay. That was this bass. The whole show is that bass. So
it's on TV tomorrow night, is it?
Yeah.
So where are you at in the process of that now? Have you got lots more to record, or have you done all the pre-records? It's all.
Well, they only record the dances because on the day when you've got 14 routines to do, getting in 2 group numbers, because you record the results show after the live show.
Yeah.
So just getting the studio time. If they worked out if we get the dances, the group numbers pre-recorded, everything can get done relatively easier. Still long days. We don't finish till we won't be finished much till midnight on the first live Saturday, which is Saturday week, isn't it? Yeah, there's no more pre-records to do. It's all live from now.
When you kind of get there, is it all kind of getting beamed onto your iPads? You downloading it?
No, we see it. The music turns up on the. We go in. We've got musicians union 3 hours. 2 hours 45 minutes on Friday nights. So when they're on, which is a drag because what it means, especially when there's 14 couples or however many there's, they finish at. Could be any time up to 8 o'clock on Friday, and then we go in to do 3 hours, and then on the Saturday we'll be in. It could be any time from 8 o'clock, and then we're just full on all the Saturday.
Outside of Strictly, you've done some kind of huge names in the industry. Have they all come from different places, or are there common threads in terms of musical directors or fixers or even bandmates that have kind of tied those things together for you?
Well, there's all of the above, but mainly it's the producers, whatever producers you're working with, a lot it goes, through them. I working with Guy Chambers a lot, and then working with a producer called Hayden Bendel, being in one studio, then meeting an old mate that I toured with, it was Josh Groban. I did his first ever tour, not his tour, but the first tour he was ever on as a guest.
Right.
And so he was like the young lad on, and we sort of looked after him in the band. I say looked after him, but anyway.
Didn't you?
Yeah, we had a fine old time. But anyway, we all got on, and this was years later, and bumped into him at the studio. I was working with someone else, and he introduced me. He said, "Come play my record." And it was his first big album, and I came and did that, and met the producer who was married to Fries, and from that I did Rufus Wainwright, and they had and Mark Armand and John. I did a bunch of stuff for Marius, and they put me onto so the working with Yusuf came through. Drummer Ian Thomas and Pete Adams, keyboard player, recommended, because they played on the record on the Yusuf's first comeback into music.
Yeah,
and they didn't have a bass player, and they said, "Well, get Trev to come." So I just went along to do a rehearsal with Yusuf and see if we got on and everything. Yeah. And there was right. So they ended up touring with him for the first 5 years or whatever it was. He was out,
Brilliant.
It's sometimes it's a musical director, but 9 times out of 10 it's a producer that gets to say who plays on the record.
For you, it kind of came from the studios and the producers first, and then when you went out on the road with some of those artists, then went kind of that way around.
I mean, it took from getting into studio work. It came from me playing in like covers bands, and the first band that I played in, I was a guitar player. This is a long time ago. It's in the late 70s, and the bass player left. Do you play bass? Yeah, I play. So. And then I couldn't read. And then we were playing for Cabaret every night. And then I got my reading together.
Yeah, man.
And the keyboard player in that band is a guy called Dave Hartley, who lives up in Cumbria way. Okay. And he worked with Steve. Is he an Oscar nominee with Sting? He's a phenomenal musician, piano player. And Dave's dad was head of music at Yorkshire Television. So he put me to do my first proper sessions in London with 321, a TV show. But through there, I got to work with all the A-team TV guys at the time, which was Harold Fisher and Paul Keogh and Trevor Brown, Derek Watkins, and like all the big session hitters. And I did okay, so I got on a list that would get a call. So I get a call from Alan Ainsworth or Ray Monk for various other of those MDs to do, and then I got if you did well enough, you get more calls, you work sort of, through the big studio A-team of the various times, if they okayed you, because no one's going to okay someone they've never heard. You can't. It doesn't matter what anyone says. Yeah. So once you've been heard, once you've got a chance, if you're good enough, you progress. But that. That led me on to all the sessions and jingles, and it's 40 years down the line now, So I'm on the arse end of my career, I would have said now. I'm holding on to Strictly.
You seem to be doing all right, mate. But...
Well, been lucky. I mean, it's just there's a million bass players out there that are great, could do, but there's so many aspects of studio work or on live television stuff that and hardly anything to do with being a bass player or how good you are. Yeah. It's how you can control yourself to play at your best when you have no time to rehearse and you think wait a minute, there's 12 million people and this guitar's going into a board and straight. Wait a minute, so there's all you know, all of that, all of those sort of areas. You have to have the confidence to not be scared to make a mistake.
I was going to ask if you had any kind of advice for bass players who are trying to get into the business or are trying to kind of level up where they're at.
I mean, I always say that never turn down an opportunity to play,
Mm-hmm.
and always play it. Don't matter what you're doing, whether you're doing a gig on a wedding or in a pub or whatever, whether it's your kind of music you love, or you know. Firstly, always take it seriously. Always have fun.
Yeah.
But always take it seriously and always play as best as you can, because you never know who's watching.
Yeah.
You know, you can look up and you be. I mean, I played in a Hollybush in a pub, you know, and looked up. There was a bit of buzz in there, and Sting was standing there. You know, think, what? You know what I mean? You just never know who you're going to walk into. Look, do you fancy coming down to somewhere? You know, so you know, and play with everyone you can.
Yeah.
Don't say, oh, don't do that, man. If it's like a brass band and they want to try and get a bass player along, go and do that. If there's people that are making music that you don't like, you know, go and give it a play. If there are people you don't know, always go and play. Or you just, you know, if there's like I say, you know, nerdy, there's a thing that, you know, in college and stuff, if you find there's some nerdy guy that's on his own writing a load of stuff and he's sort of awkward and no one sort of digs in because they're not rocking out and stuff. That's the guy you got to go and play with. You know, go say, because well, you know, you find him writing movie scores in 5 years. You know,
Mm-hmm.
so it's you know, but play. Just that's my thing. Is get and if you can't, there's a thing. You know, all pros know that if you're just waiting for the phone to go, then you could be waiting a long time. You know, if you're doing nothing, create something.
Are you a real kind of prep guy? Like you want to, before you get to that rehearsal or to that session, you want to know everything you can about what you're playing?
No, but that comes with experience. You know, where you, as a young bass player, going into studios the first time, and you never know never knew how much you were earning or who you're playing with or what you were playing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's the ultimate, in my opinion. You're looking back at those things now and you think, man, those guys that did that or made us steal, you know. But nowadays you get a lot more information. But in those days, you'd be turned into whatever studio. You didn't know who was on drums or if it was anyone you knew or what the charts were or anything. And you're always waiting to your fear of not being able to read it and do it.
Yeah.
You know, and as the years go by, you realise that, you know, it's if you know your instrument well enough that you can't be. There's no situation I'm scared of going into now. You know, because I'm happy to say I can't play this. Sorry,
Right.
This is too hard. This needs either a better bass player or someone needs to look at this for half an hour. But I can normally get things together. Yeah, other people might tell you I can't. You know, which is they might be right.
Back to the Overwaters. For years, I thought that bass was one of one, and it must look rather familiar to you, doesn't it?
Yes, I've got exactly the same.
Yeah.
So I've got my name written at the top.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw on your website, and I was like, "That's
Yeah.
exactly the same as mine." But then Martin told me yesterday, you've got some rather bling inlays, haven't you? You've got some LEDs underneath.
Yeah, I've got them on the side and the front. You know,
You've got three, is that right? You've got a J series, you've got a P bass, you've got the Progress. Is there one more? Am I missing one?
I've got the Jazz, a Precision,
Yeah.
and the JP.
Oh, okay. Yeah, cool.
And
now the new one.
You know,
Yeah.
Progress.
Do you have the P set up with flat wounds and a mute? Are there specific things going on with them?
On the big red P, I've got the old rubber. Yeah. Rubber flats on it. You know.
Yeah.
It gives a nice little sound. I use that on one of the things. You know, but those three are. I use the white one, the JP setup,
Yeah.
for as a main bass for I don't know 5-6 years now, since I've had it, really, because that's what it was built for. It's light, and I could wear it all day and wouldn't feel it too much, you know. But I like the Jazz. Is the one I love playing. That the neck, something about the neck on it is amazing, and the just the feel of the whole instrument in your hand. You know, when you pick up an instrument, you go, "Oh, it sounds great. It just feels comfortable," and you know, you can hear it's got a lot of life to it. You know, like a jazz has got that buzz to it, and it's got just a great live feel to it, almost amped without it. You know, it's like a P bass sounding like a P bass sounds. You know, like sounds amped. You know, straight in. You know, but as I said, this progress has been a real opener. So far, everyone down the studio loves it.
Well, man, I'm looking forward. I'm going to tune in tomorrow night. I can't wait to hear it. Hey, thank you so much for today. I really appreciate it, man. Really nice to meet you.
Yeah, you too. I'm sorry, I'm not very good at doing these things, but it's been fun.
All right, mate. Love you to catch up. Speak to you soon.
Bye bye.